You know, Queen Nazuri, I shout you out because you support both of our channels, and we all gonna be able to have this discussion. You said to be something about having two black parents. Well, I challenge that because I'm questioning: are we talking about two black parents that are descendants of American slavery, native blacks, or are we just saying any African country, from Ethiopia to South Africa? And so, like, I challenge that because now, if you're saying that, does it also include people who sold us into slavery?
Peace, you know who this is. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell.
Family, I'm sorry. I got access to a computer, but I don't have a mic, and this computer's mic is too bad. So I got to do it like this. You're going to have to work with me. You know I'm on the road, family emergency. So just work with me. Make sure you hit the Cash App. Make sure you hit the PayPal if you can, the Cash App if you can. Also, you know, do all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all that. But now let's get into this video. The reason I'm making this video right here is for one reason and one reason only, right? People were attacking me because they were mad that I was pointing out a contradiction, like I always do, but this one really got underneath people's skin. Because Tariq did a Twitter space, like you can see on the screen, with a guy, and he was telling the guy that, the guy was telling him that he was FBA, and then Tariq was arguing with him that he's not FBA. He's not FBA, he's not FBA, he's not FBA. And then after the space, Tariq did some quote unquote research on the guy. And then he was like, I have now the proof that he's not FBA. And here's the proof. This is what Tariq put up himself. The guy saying this in 2001, that he was half Haitian, half Black American. His mother is Haitian and his father is Black American. Tariq put this up as a receipt to prove that the guy was not FBA, even though he is clearly stating that his father is half FBA. And for people who don't know, like, there was other receipts that Tariq put up, but this is the main one I wanted to show you. Remember, I don't have time, and the thing, and you know, you see how I gotta record the video. You can see it. I'm French and Black American. That's what he put up. That means he's half FBA. Which means Tariq saw this with his own eyes and still saying he's not a FBA. And you had people in the comment section when I first put this up on my other channel, people crying and crying and crying, gnashing their teeth, crying. Oh, half FBA is still FBA, half FBA is still FBA. If half FBA is still FBA, that means Tariq is wrong. So y'all need to go check Tariq. And if it's not, that means, why are you even talking to me about pointing that out? You should be agreeing with me, saying, yeah, they not FBA. So it's like, why are y'all crying to me? Go talk to Tariq. Tariq is the one saying this, not me. And they're going to say, well, Tariq has said other things in the past. And it's like, yeah, Tariq has said other things, and you can show other examples, which I'm going to do later on in this video, which proves that Tariq is contradicting himself. Which means you never know what the answer is going to be, because Tariq got the chicken butt mouth. He said, and for all y'all don't know, I got that from the man head doctor. Shout out to him. A chicken butt, you don't know what's going to come out of there, because chickens pee, doodle, and lay eggs all out the same hole. So when a chicken squat down, you don't know, you never know what's going to come out. An egg, doodle, or piss. And that's with the same thing with Tariq with his mouth. You never know what he's going to say. He talking to somebody, you're never going to know if he's going to say they FBA. You never know if he's going to say they not FBA. You're never going to know what he's going to do. And the reason I played that clip in the beginning, I want to make sure I let that be known, is because we all know Tariq got his whole ideology from Yvette, Carnell, and Tonetalks. And that clip right there was Tonetalks and them discussing about, are people with African ancestry or Black ancestry outside of America should be considered the same as us. Like if you have two of them, like if a Jamaican and a Black American have a kid, is that the same as a Black American? That's why Tariq is even having this debate and this argument. But we're going to keep pushing. Let's go.
I have nothing to argue with anybody about because, number one, the people who's trying to argue, they can't do shit for you anyway. Basically, they're just wasting your time, which is the point so that you won't be focused on getting reparations and you can get off code. We're going to stay on code and we're going to stay empowering our group, meaning foundational Black Americans who are the foundation of this country. That's the group. And that group includes Dr. Martin Luther King and many other foundational Black Americans who are prominent. You dig? Because people who got a problem with American descendants of slaves, then you got a problem with Harriet Tubman, you got a problem with Malcolm X, not Malcolm, with Martin Luther King.
As you heard, family, that's Tariq. This is back when he was still repping ADOS, saying FBA and ADOS is still the same thing. You heard him out of his own mouth saying that they was the same thing. And you see when he named Martin Luther King, right? He named Malcolm X. He said not Malcolm X. And then went on to Harriet Tubman. Why did he say not Malcolm X? Because Malcolm X's mother is from Grenada. So that means he's half Black American, half Grenadian, right? So he can't be FBA. He can't be ADOS. Because why? He got Black immigrant in blood. That disgusting term. He's a quote unquote African. So he can't be one of the groups. And that's why after he said that and he made this t-shirt, people didn't really hear him say that before. But until I brought it up, so a lot of people start messing with him, but he got his goofies who still mess with him, and you got new people coming in. And then later on, he made this t-shirt. And I remember when he first premiered this t-shirt, it was a big hoopla because people was like, why is Malcolm X not on this t-shirt? Why is Martin Luther King? Because remember, this is back when they were still hating on Martin Luther King and claiming that he didn't do nothing for Black people. All he did was get beat up. And the civil rights movement and the civil rights generation is trash. They messed Black people up. If we would have listened to Malcolm X, we'd have been further. So people was like, why is he on the shirt and not Malcolm X? And I had to explain to people again why Malcolm X is not on this shirt. He's not on this shirt because Malcolm X has a Grenadian mother. You see who also is on the shirt, right? You see Frederick Douglass is on the shirt. Frederick Douglass is half white. But he still gets to be FBA and he still gets to be on the shirt. But Malcolm X can't be on the shirt because his mother's West Indian. Now, family, I'm about to play this clip right here. This is another switch up from Tariq. When Tariq is claiming that he's not a Black leader, but he's going to help define who is and who is FBA, who is not FBA. Funny. He's going to claim there's no such thing as a Black leader because we all subjugated by white supremacy. So that means Malcolm X is not, not Malcolm X. Because again, I'm not going to use that as an example because you already heard him say that. Malcolm X is not our people. But Martin Luther King was not a Black leader. Harriet Tubman was not a Black leader. Frederick Douglass was not a Black leader because, they were subjects to white supremacy. But I'm going to let him talk and watch him say he's going to define who's FBA and who's not FBA. Watch this. This is crazy. How you not a leader, but you want to define who is and who is not a part of a whole ethnic group, which y'all say lineage. Lineage is the wrong word, but it's a reason why y'all use the word lineage. And it comes also from ADOS because they was claiming that we're closer to white than we are to Africans and we share the same blood as them because quote unquote all Black people who went through slavery in this land got white blood. So we are all a part of the same lineage because, lineage is your bloodline. It's not your ethnicity. It's your blood. It's your bloodline. It's like I could be Black like you could be Black, but my great grandfather times 5 is Japanese. You don't have a Japanese ancestor. So, I got Japanese in my lineage, in my blood, but I'm not Japanese though. And that's why they use the word lineage instead of ethnicity. But we're gonna go on. Let's go.
So a lot of people in the dominant society, they are kind of nervous about the fact that Black people were not afraid. They're not showing any fear. So a lot of Sambos are being pushed out there. The New York NYPD pushed out some Sambo Negroes, talking about 27 black leaders condemned the throwing of water. So when they start talking about a black leader, that means hand-picked Negroes. Always understand that. When they start talking about some hand-picked leaders, when they start talking about black leaders, those are Negroes that they've bought. They got them bought, hand-picked, vetted, because there are no black leaders. Always remember that. That's why I always tell people I'm not a leader. I'm a subject of white supremacy. I'm under the subjugation of white supremacy. So there are no black leaders. Don't let nobody fool you with that black leader talk. Whenever you hear black leader, them calling somebody a black leader, that's one of their bought and paid for Negroes. Shout out to the ADOS family. Shout out to all the Foundation of Black Americans. And we're going to have a deep conversation tomorrow on the live stream about what we need to do and how we need to focus on foundational Black Americans and eradicate some of the unnecessary things, how we're going to codify things as foundational Black Americans. I want to break some stuff down on tomorrow's broadcast, talking about the theory of blood quantum.
As you heard, the theory of blood quantum. What is that? We're gonna quantify the blood. We're gonna see what blood makes you FBA and which blood doesn't. That's what that is about. So it's funny how that's another thing. They claiming that FBA has always been here. So why did you have to do a live stream and break down who is who? Shouldn't everybody already know if it's a lineage, if it's an ethnicity, if it existed for hundreds of years? Why do they need you to break that down? And why is there so much confusion? Because I'm about to play another clip right here of confusion of when Tariq first switched up and said, oh, half-FBA is FBA. And he did it to sell a flag. That's how low, that's why I know he's bought and paid for by white supremacists. Because it's like, you are too cheap, Tariq. You switched up your whole ideology. As y'all heard, I played all the receipts. Now watch him switch up to sell a flag. Watch this.
Right, and my family's from Honduras, so I know how you feel about when I say us immigrants. I'm gonna say them immigrants because I consider myself black,
Yes.
but I'm from Dorchester. I got mad brothers, and we get busy.
Yes.
And that's how I grew up. So I've always considered myself that way. I love my Honduran lineage. Both parents are from Honduras.
Okay.
But I'm from here.
Right.
But Shy, my son, who's 19 now, his father is all the way a foundational Black American.
Okay.
So I wanted to give him the flag of the foundational Black American because I thought that Shy would be considered a foundational Black American because I'm confused now. So, because if his dad is all the way Black, Southerners and stuff, and all the way Black, and then I'm from here, but my parents are from Honduras, does that make my 19-year-old son a foundational Black American or not? Because it's not.
He is.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. If you look at the website.
Oh, my God, I'm so happy.
Yes. We talked about that on the website. If you look at the website, if you have one parent here who's a foundational Black American, you come from a foundational Black American lineage. So you are a foundational Black American. We definitely talked about.
As you heard, family, you heard the switch up. He switched up to sell a flag. And the only reason he switched up like that is because she said, oh, I want to buy my son the flag, but I don't know if he's a foundational Black American or not because I'm confused. Why is a listener of yours confused? Because you keep saying different things. You keep saying different things. 1 minute, because if Malcolm X ain't foundational Black American, how could anybody else whose mother is not from America be foundational Black American? How? You keep switching up. Every time somebody turns around, it's something different. Chicken butt mouth. Your own listeners don't know what is and what is not a foundational Black American. Who is and who is not a foundational Black American. Nobody knows because you keep switching it. You keep switching it. And you switched it to sell a flag. And the funny part is, before Tariq switched up, The audience was roasting her. They was like, why is she calling in? Oh, she's Honduras. She's not black. She's not black. Your kids ain't black. You not one of us. Because I think this is before they started using the word tether. So they was like, you not us, you not us, you not us. And then Tariq said that, and then everybody else switched up in the chat room, which shows that these people are in a cult. There's no way you can hear your leader say that they half FBA is not FBA, and then see him switch up to sell a flag, and then you switch up on a dime right then and there. You're in a cult. Now, family, in this clip, we're going to watch Tariq Nasheed try to square that circle. Because, again, it's too many contradictions. 1 minute they have FBA, 1 minute they not. Now he's going to try to square that circle on how half FBA fits into FBA. Let's watch this.
So now, family, as foundational Black Americans, we should not allow half FBA people whose family came over after 1970.
Two things, real quick. One, he had just called Coleman Cruz, whose father is Black American, his mother is Puerto Rican, saying that he's a Puerto Rican and he's not FBA. He had just said that earlier in this live stream before he's doing this part right here. Two, the reason he said 1970 is because they all believe that Black immigrants came to America in 1970. I don't understand. Like, they think all of them came here. Like, they think that it was like, because, you know, Tone teaches that he's like, he go right at the decimal, basically saying that there was basically no Black immigrants here. There might have been a couple dozen, maybe a couple hundred, but that's about it. Maybe a couple thousand, but that's about it. They weren't really here. But the ones, they really started coming here after 1970. That's why he keeps saying 1970, 1970. That's that magical number that they keep mentioning. 1970 and 1870. 1870 is when they did the census after slavery, and 1970 is when they believe Black immigrants started first coming to America.
To be spokespersons for us as a group, unless, now there's a caveat to that, unless, there's a but to it, unless that person has a verified track record of loyalty and tangible contributions to the betterment of foundational Black society on a grassroots level. The only way we will let a half FBA person be the spokesperson for us is if they have a tangible track record of doing things for the betterment of foundational Black American society. You understand? You have to have a track record of loyalty, of doing things to better foundational Black American society.
One, that sounds like a group. Because one, in a group, you know, you have groups out here who claim to fight for ethnicities, right? And they don't let people who have half ancestry in unless they vetted them, or they just don't let them in at all. They definitely don't let them be in positions of leadership or speak. That sounds like a group. That doesn't sound like a quote-unquote lineage or ethnicity. Because if you're born into an ethnicity or you're born into a lineage, you can speak about that. Nobody can stop you. They don't have to listen to you, but nobody can stop you. You don't have to prove a track record. So let me get this straight. Somebody who with 2 FBA parents can get up here and be a spokesperson for FBA, well, no matter what they're saying. But somebody with 1 FBA parent cannot unless they have a track record. They have to put in work to be able to speak for it. That sounds like second-class citizenship to me. And on top of that, who's going to check this track record? Who's going to verify that they put in enough work on the quote-unquote grassroots level that they can now speak for the community? Who's going to check that record? Tariq, you? And what is the record? What do they have to have? We're getting confused. I'm confused. I know you're confused. I know your audience is confused, but we're going to continue.
You got to have a track record of doing it. If you got a track record of just running your fucking mouth and criticizing us, just keep. That brings us to our brother Nipsey. Nipsey was a half foundational Black American. His family was from Eritrea. His mother was foundational Black American. But Nipsey did things for the foundational Black American community. That brother was extremely loyal. That brother created all types of opportunities for foundational Black Americans. That brother went out there in the streets and fought for foundational Black Americans. That brother was a rider for foundational Black Americans. Nipsey was different from some of these tethered coons.
Oh yeah, another thing. When they say rider, that's basically their version of saying you're an ally, like ADOS. Because, you know, they share a lot of language. You know, they just be remixing each other's language. Like Tariq says, Flea, they say, ADOS says runner. And all that other stuff. But we're going to continue.
Nipsey is a great example of that. That's why we elevate that brother to a damn deity to a certain degree. We elevate that brother because he was a rider for us. He wasn't over here trying to exploit. That brother built and created all types of opportunities that folks don't even know about. That's a rider. That brother was a rider. Yeah? Nip was a real one. People like that, yes, because he has a track record of doing the right thing. He never tried to undermine us. He respected his Eritrean culture, but he respected us. And did everything he could. Me personally, Nipsey did a lot of good shit for me personally. I'm telling you from personal experience with Nipsey. And then was a rider. People like that, yes. Our brother Colin Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, he's going to mention Colin Kaepernick now because in the chat, people kept saying, well, what about people who are half white and half FBA? Because it's like, y'all keep talking about immigrants. Remember, this was early in the movement when all this was going, what this receipt comes from. Early in the movement when people were still trying to figure out, like, all right, half FBA, are we only talking about Black immigrants? And it was like, and then he had to throw Colin Kaepernick in there because you know Tariq, when he does his live stream, he's reacting off the audience. But we already established one that half white makes you full FBA. You're not half FBA if you got a white parent. You're just straight FBA. Just like that's why he had Frederick Douglass on the shirt. And the funny part is also about this rider conversation. Wasn't Malcolm X a quote-unquote rider? So how come he's not FBA? How come Nipsey Hussle was FBA, but not Malcolm X? Isn't Malcolm X a rider? You're getting confused. And the reason you're getting confused is because you're just saying anything.
Colin's mother, his biological mother, is white. Colin's dad is Black, foundational Black American. But he's a rider. He put his life on the line and his career on the line for the betterment of Black people. Colin Kaepernick is a rider. That's who we're talking about. You better have a track record of putting in work for foundational Black society. And even if you're not foundational Black American, even if you're from an immigrant class, we respect you, but we don't need anybody who's not from foundational Black American culture to act as a spokesperson.
Now, family, I'm going to play the clip that I play in a lot of my videos that shows the connection between ADOS and FBA, because some people will say, well, how do we know he got that from Tone and Yvette, even though he's saying FBA, ADOS, and even though everybody knows this, but this is for people who are new, and this is for some people who are not new, but just need a refresher to make sure you understand that these groups are connected and they are hate groups, and they are meant to divide the people. But anyway, I'm about to play this real quick. And also, please, family, make sure you reward this video because, you know, this was not easy to make. I had to jump through a lot of hoops to even try to make this. I tried to make it as nice as I could, but hey, I don't have a mic and I wasn't going to use the computer mic. It is too bad. So let's just go.
I want to take this time to actually explain how this whole ideology came to be. Because remember, FBA comes out of ADOS. It's a splinter group, but they still hold on to the ideology. So for you to really understand why FBA operates the way it operates and why they believe what they believe, we must first go back. I'm going to play a clip of Tariq Nasheed when he first started repping ADOS, then known as DOS.
Tonight. You say Yvette Carnell made up the DOS term. That's a good term. I'll take my hat off to her. The DOS term is a very good term. I actually like that. Descendants of slaves or descendants of slavery. Very good term. Now, I like that term. I have my differences with Yvette Carnell, but sometimes people do good things. I like that term. American DOS, descendants of slaves, descendants of slavery. All right? I'm here. That's a very good codified term. I like that. And we need to jump on terms like that. You dig? Shout out to Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. One thing I do commend them about, and Antonio, I've seen some of his videos. He brings good information. They speak up for the African or the Black American experience.
As you heard, family, Tariq is such a grifter that he was trying to steal the term, but somebody in the audience, several people actually, in the live stream audience, made it clear that, hey, that's Yvette Carnell's term. And he had to acknowledge it. You could see it in his face that he didn't want to do it, but he had to. He tried to steal the term in true grifter fashion. So, as time would go on, he got down with ADOS. He got down with them, and then he started trying to push his own thing, which at first was Native Black American, but then he realized, hey, I can't trademark this. So he went back, and he couldn't get that to pop. So he went back to ADOS, and then he came up with the bright idea of foundational Black American, something that he could trademark and he could push. And remember, when he did that, he was still preaching that foundational Black American and ADOS is the same thing. Two terms that mean the same thing. Before he started beefing with Yvette Carnell and ADOS, and he made it a full-blown splinter group. But he still held on to the ADOS ideology. And what is the ADOS ideology, and who is Yvette Carnell? Well, Yvette Carnell is the founder and leader of ADOS. This is her that you see on your screen right now with the MAGA hat. She created DOS, which now is ADOS, in about 2016, 2017. Around the same time, she was a board member for PIFA. What is PIFA? Progressives for Immigration Reform. And all you have to do is go to irs.gov and you can look them up. They're a tax-exempt organization. You can get their tax records. And then when you look it up, there you see Yvette Carnell, director. Yvette Carnell, secretary. Yvette Carnell, secretary again. That's right, Yvette Carnell. She was a board member, a high-ranking board member of a hate group. And some will say, well, show me that PIFA is a hate group. Because you're showing me that she's a board member, but you're not showing me that it's a hate group. Well, I'm going to do that for you right now. And we're going to start at the beginning with the man himself, John Tanton. He's now deceased, but he is the father of the modern anti-immigrant movement. Now, let's just read about him a little bit. John Tanton was the racist architect of the modern anti-immigrant movement. He created a network of organizations, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, the Center for Immigration Studies, and Numbers USA, that profoundly shaped the immigration debate in the U.S. About John Tanton. A retired Michigan ophthalmologist, Tanton had white nationalist beliefs and wrote that to maintain American culture, a European American majority is required. In his own words, I've come to the point of view that for European American society and culture to persist requires a European American majority, and a clear one at that. December 10, 1993, a letter to the late Garrett Harding, a controversial ecology professor. Now that we have learned about the racist architect of all this anti-immigrant bigotry that we see now we need to learn about the organizations he created and the networks that they spawn. Federation for American Immigration Reform. The Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR, is a group with one mission: to severely limit immigration into the United States. Although FAIR maintains a veneer of legitimacy that allows its principals to testify in Congress and lobby the federal government, this veneer hides much ugliness. FAIR leaders have ties to white supremacist groups and eugenicists and have made many racist statements. Its advertisement has been rejected because of its racist content. FAIR's founder, the late John Tanton, has expressed his wish that America remains a majority white population, a goal to be achieved presumably by limiting the number of non-whites who enter the country. One of the group's main goals is to upend the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, which ended a decades-long racial quota system that limited immigration mostly to Northern Europeans. FAIR's president, Dan Stein, has called the act a mistake. And now that we have some background information on FAIR, the flagship organization, now we're going to learn about PIFA's connection to FAIR. The same PIFA that Yvette Carnell was a board member of, that she only resigned from being a board member of after she got outed and exposed for being a board member of PIFA. And people started to realize, hey, PIFA is just a white nationalist front. And she left them to maintain some level of legitimacy, even though I don't understand how she could maintain any legitimacy for being a part of a white nationalist front group, especially at that high of a rank. Because there's no way you're that stupid that you didn't realize what was going on. You knew. But she left to maintain some level of legitimacy. But here, we're going to get some background information into PIFA. Many speakers at PIFA's events have links to John Tanton, the racist founder of the modern anti-immigrant movement. Representatives from Numbers USA and the Center for Immigration Studies, groups founded by Tanton, participated. The incestuous nature of the Tanton network was embodied in the person of PIFA's executive director, Leah Durant, who formerly was employed by FAIR's legal arm, the Immigration Reform Law Institute. FAIR, which the Southern Poverty Law Center lists as a hate group, was founded by Tanton, who still serves on the group's board. For a time, Durant also was a part of Choose Black America, a FAIR front group supposedly representing the interests of African Americans concerned with high levels of immigration. The group disintegrated not long after its first press conference, which was paid for and stage managed by FAIR. Now, why is this so significant? It's significant because it shows that, one, FAIR is a hate group, and PIFA is a front group for that hate group. So PIFA is also a hate group. And more alarming is that PIFA and FAIR both go out their way to create African American groups to be fronts for them. Because if you don't know, Leah Durant is black. And as you just heard me, they created a black group just for her. They have created, platform, hired, and just signal boost many black organizations. Why? Because their number one strategy is to make black people the face of the anti-immigrant movement. To say, look, it's not racist. Look, we got black people saying that we have a problem with immigration too. That's what makes this so alarming. That's their whole thing. Be anti-democrat and be anti-immigration. To make black people the front group for that. Now it's starting to click for y'all. Why ADOS, Freedmen, and FBA, all they talk about all day is anti-democrat nonsense, and they also talk about anti-immigrant nonsense all day. That's all they do. That's all they do. If you look at all their timelines, it's just about how do we attack the Democrats, how do we launder the behavior of the Republicans, and how do we attack immigrants, especially black immigrants. Because that's another way they can really, really prove that, hey, this is not racial, because not only are black people out in front of the anti-immigrant movement, they are also attacking black immigrants the most. So this is not racial. This is just, Americans being concerned about immigration levels. Now it's clicking, right? It's clicking. Where Tariq went from hitting colors to now he hates black immigrants. And he loves Trump and the Republicans. It's starting to click now. Remember, he got this ideology from Yvette Carnell. Yvette Carnell, who works for PIFA. She used to work for PIFA. Not just work for them, a board member of PIFA, a white nationalist front group. that goes around creating black groups to launder their behavior. And to better show you another example of how PIFA and FAIR uses these black organizations and creates them, I'm going to touch on the Black American Leadership Alliance. And we're going to show you how PIFA uses them. What Bala did not say in that letter or during a press conference in April when it called itself the African American Leadership Council was anything about its provenance. There's a good reason for that. It turns out that Bala is simply the latest front group for FAIR, the flagship of a network of anti-immigrant organizations founded by the white nationalist John Tanton. When it first emerged in April, Bala was openly sponsored by another FAIR front called PIFA, purportedly an organization concerned about the environmental impact of immigration. As late as June, the media spokesperson and phone number listed on Bala's press releases were associated with PIFA. Bala is not the first African American front group formed by FAIR. In 2006, an organization called Choose Black America appeared on the scene. Its black members were selected, flown to press conferences in Washington, lodged there by FAIR. The group's spokesman was a white FAIR official. Though CBA fell apart soon after its debut, the Taunton Network's dream of appearing to represent a rainbow coalition did not die with it. In 2011, FAIR briefly sponsored Blacks for Equal Rights Coalition, a LA-based anti-immigrant organization that has been celebrated by the white supremacist Council of Conservative Citizens. Bala's members include a familiar cast of Taunton allies, notable among them Leah Durant, an African-American lawyer who is also PIFA's executive director. Durant, who once worked for FAIR's legal arm, also spoke at the press conference held to announce the creation of CBA. As you've seen, family, this looks so familiar. ADOS, FBA, Freeman, they're looking a lot like the CBA and Bala and all the other organizations. Because we didn't even talk about U.S. blacks, all that. And as you also heard, Tanton's dream was to create a quote-unquote rainbow coalition of anti-immigrantness, where he and all his rainbow quote-unquote coalition consisted of was trying to hire black people and platform black people to be anti-immigrant and to spew racist white talking points about immigrants. And say nothing about white immigrants, attack Democrats, and be silent on Republicans. Don't this look familiar? This is what I've been telling y'all for years. This has always been the case with this group. They are a hate group. So yeah, family, I'm about to end this video here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Make sure you really comment on this video. I really want to know what people have to say about this video. Make sure you hit that bell, because a lot of you have not hit that bell. And also make sure you donate to me if you can. That is very important. And oh yeah, I got my Instagram back. I forgot to mention that. I got my Instagram back. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on X. Remember, the Cash.app, the PayPal will be in the link below, the pinned comment below, and in the description box. And on that note, family, peace.